ready, everybody. I never know when I'm going to be on camera.
It just happens sometimes. I don't even know. These buttons don't work.
Absolutely. You guys, this is live and unscripted. So if you think that what can go wrong will go wrong, you're exactly right. But I love it because we're on the fly, you guys. Every single solitary time you see us, we are like winging it. But that's a good thing because we're real people and we do this thing every time for you guys, whether it's perfect or imperfect. You're going to see us the way we are. Hi, Crystal.
Hey, how are you, Kathy?
I'm good. All right. So this is the deal. I would like for Crystal to please tell us who she is, why we do this, and what she does.
All right. So I'm a natural health and herb specialist and a holistic health coach. And we do this, or I do this, we started this because, years ago, I had my own health challenges. And I went to the doctors, and basically they were going to say I had to be on medications for the rest of my life, or I could possibly get cancer, all these things. And to me, that was not an answer or a solution. So I found a naturopathic doctor, learned a lot from her. She's now my good friend and colleague. And once I became well, I started spreading the word, basically just sharing the good health, because you can really do things with nutrition and herbs, and it's very powerful. And I just like to share that. So this is one reason why we do Wellness Wednesday, and I'm so excited about it.
I am too. You guys, let me just tell you this too. There's only one Crystal and a million of you out there. And so in order to multiply Crystal, we have come up with a subscription program, but we will tell you about that at the end of the program because I'm so excited today about what we're going to do. But before we get to this Wellness Wednesday, I do want to remind you that next Wednesday will be Coach Ree. She's going to explain to us about my journey with her because, she's my, oh my God, accountability partner. She's my trainer. She's my, oh God, coach. Yeah. I mean, she's actually my coach on what I'm doing these this last month. It seems like it's been longer, but it hasn't.
It might feel like it's longer.
Yeah. So yeah, that's going to be next week. And then tomorrow we're going to do Vibe of the Day again for you guys. So just know that there are some things coming up and just be tuned in to us. But right now, I would like for Crystal to please introduce our guest. This is going to be amazing, you guys. She's an iridologist, and what she's going to do, she's going to explain what the eye means and what it shows us and all of that. And she's going to get in depth with mine because I want you guys to know exactly what's going on with me. I don't mind. So would you please introduce Miss June?
So Miss June Baker is coming on with us today. And yes, she is an expert iridologist. She's also very good with emotional health and flower essences and all kinds of things. And I have known June for years. I think I met her back in 2013 or 14. And we went to a leadership conference together. And I was just drawn to her. Everything she said when she spoke, she's just so knowledgeable, and she brings a lot of value to the table. And without further ado, I would like to bring Miss June Baker on. Thank you, June, for joining us. Hey.
Good to be here. I'm in New Mexico.
Right. I am so excited. I'm so excited. I'm more excited because I'm learning so much from all of what you guys are teaching me. And so when you teach me, you're teaching the people out there in the world as well. And so I'm really excited about what you have to say about the eye, the iris, all of that. But Miss Crystal, and I don't know, Miss June, if you noticed, but I was able to say the word iridology correctly. I've been practicing. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I was so tongue-tied with that stupid word.
You're not the only one. I hear people do that all the time. They always say ideology or, something like that. Yeah. And you're not the only one.
Okay. I'm just the only one that's saying it every week and can't say it right. But no more further ado. Miss June and Miss Crystal, I'm going to let you guys take this thing. And when I have questions, I will just chime in.
Yeah, June, so just tell us about a little bit what you do and why you got started with it. Anything you want to tell us.
Yeah. Okay. the reason I was even drawn in, well, let me tell you who I am. I'm June Baker, and I'm from New Mexico, and I've been working in the health and wellness industry for about 30 years. I've
wow.
done everything you can imagine, worked with a lot of different companies, just a lot of different modalities. And so I've always kind of dabbled with that. I had a mother that was a nurse. She died at the age of 51. And, but I remember as a child taking her manual, and I would read it, and then I would bring the neighborhood kids together. My father had this old truck, and I would set up these wooden stumps outside, and then I would get some, it's sheetrock, and it's like chalk, right? And so I would write an assignment on the door of the truck from what I read out of my mother's book. And so I've pierced everybody's ears in my neighborhood. I taught them all and got them all through puberty. And so anyway, I did that kind of thing, and they actually did it. They actually would sit there on the stumps, and I would teach them.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Isn't that interesting? And
Yeah.
so when my mother passed away, I thought, I look like her. I'm genetically built like her. Possibly, maybe I'm going to pass away at the same thing and have the same issues.
Oh, gotcha.
And so anyway, I've always kind of just moved in that direction and wanted to know about holistic healing. I had a grandmother that lived off the land, and we lived, I mean, I lived in the apple trees, the apricot trees, ate everything natural and organic growing up.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know,
My
lived
grandmother
right
had a
off
peach
the
tree,
river.
and we had collard greens. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. That brought back some good memories.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know, so I was kind of already moving in that direction. And then when my mother passed away, I remember being a big advocate for cancer research. And so I was living in Albuquerque where my husband and I were going to university. And I knocked on everybody's door and I collected money, and I never saw much progress. I did it for years. You know, I would walk the walks and do all that kind of thing. And then I just thought there has to be something else. There has to be something more. And so I met a lady named Harriet Smith, and she took me under her wing, and she was like 90 years old, jumping off the diving board, and she'd make her own yogurt and everything. You know, she'd say, we can clear the hospital by giving everybody this volcanic ash and stuff like that, you know. And so I just followed her. I was just fascinated with her. And so I was kind of taught and groomed in that way. So that's why I say I haven't had my practice has been, it's probably like about, I would say maybe 15 years of the 30, because I was in and out of different places. I've worked with several doctors.
So how did you get in? How did you get like to the eye itself? Like what made you even want to explore the iris?
I was drawn to it through the same person that Crystal talked about a while ago. That was her naturopathic doctor.
Yeah.
She said, she brought like a 3-hour or a 2-hour class. And then I was like, I want more. And she would say, well, you have enough. You know. I always think if I know any more, if I have any more, I'll be dangerous, you know. So anyway, so through COVID, I've always wanted to know more. And my husband kept hearing me say, I want to take a class. And he found one online, and he said, oh, June, look, I found one for you. And I just ignored him. Good wife that I am, right? And then he mentioned it to me a second time. And I finally called somebody and began the course when COVID began in March. So I was doing like 25 to 30 hours a week in study. And then took the final exam was in January. And I'm not lying to you, if anybody's had a baby, I had a baby. That day I was breathing, I was panting, I was doing everything while I took almost a 5-hour exam.
Wow.
And when I passed the exam, I was like, oh, fine, thank God. So now I can teach others, right? But let me tell you why I was drawn to it. It was because it's past, present, future, which is the question you asked a while ago. So the past you can look at genetically in the eye. And I was drawn to that because they said 4 generations back. And, you know, as a Christian, I know that 4 generations it's significant in the Bible, right? So I wanted to know what happened 4 generations ago. So you can see something that's called maybe lipemic diathesis, which we're going to look at in a little bit. And it looks like a tire rim around the eye, around the pupil of the eye. It looks white. And so I remember looking at people before with my 2 hours of information that I had and my getting online and trying to learn whatever I could online, and still not getting the answers I wanted to get, and having people like, you have to cleanse and you have to cleanse and you have to cleanse, but not realizing that it was a genetic marker that was there probably 4 generations past.
Yeah.
And so when the child is born, each one of them was born with the same mark.
Wow.
But it may or may not be yours. But if it's there, that means it's something you need to pay attention to.
Right.
And it's something that you need to work on. It's an opportunity. Look at it as an
Okay.
opportunity to make a change.
Absolutely.
And not pass it on to another generation, but to teach them how to.
Well, I'm not having any more kids, so it's already passed on. You should have told me this 30 years ago.
I know. I wish I would have known things too.
I know, right?
You have to look at it as, I sat there and I wept one day when I heard a woman speak, and she said the little, and you'll see little lacunas, they're called lacunas, they look like leaves on the pupil of the eye. And when she said, these are gifts that have been given to you for you to solve. And I just wept because my brother passed away in August, and he was given a lot of gifts that he was never able to resolve. And had I known these things, maybe I would have helped him prolong his life. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But at the same time, for the people that are out there that might be able to reverse some things, let's try it out and see. You know, let's just figure it out and see. Because my father died at 46 and my mother died at 78. And that's too young. Both of them. That's too young. I want them here. So, yeah.
So you know that when you pass certain thresholds, I know when I turned 51, I was like, oh, whew, I didn't die at 51. And then I kept on going, you know, and I said, okay, now I'm 61. Okay, I passed that. Well, now I'm headed towards 70. You know what I mean? And you're still looking and you're thinking, how, you know, I've passed all those things. So somehow I'm resolving and solving some things that could have been genetically passed on to me.
You know what? My grandfather was the oldest and he died at 56. My father was the oldest. He died at 46.
There you
so
go.
At 36, I was nervous. 46, I was nervous. And then I was okay. But my grandmothers, both of them, one of them died at 95 and the other one died at 98. So I kind of felt like I had some, longevity there because of those two ladies. But I'm the oldest, and since I was the oldest grandchild, I really thought, 36, I'm out of here. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
And there's a weave, and you'll see it in the iris. There's a weave that we look at. So we look at the weave to see how tight it is, how straight it is, and how resilient you are, or if you're moderate. So we'll look at that as well for you. And
all right. So, is there any examples we can get to right now so that we can?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's go.
Okay. So we have 3 iris colors. So contrary to what people think, they think that we can have a green eye, but really there is no green eye. It is actually a birthing that takes place between the blue eye, which is called lymphatic, which is interesting. I'm a blue eye. And then you have what you have, Kathy, which is a dark, velvety, beautiful brown eye.
Yeah.
And then Crystal has the eye that's right in the middle. So she has the brown and she has the blue mixed. And it's called, it's a mixed eye. It's a mixed eye, and it's a beautiful, beautiful eye.
We have diversity in the eyes, you guys. That is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
So cool.
Cool.
It's called biliary. It's called a biliary eye. Your eye, Kathy, is called hematogenic. Isn't that awesome? Hematogenic. Wow. It's a cool thing. And then I have the blue eye. And then even as we study more and more in iridology, you'll find that the blue eye can be in many shades. It can have a lot of white in it. And they call it the pioneer eye. It's the people that could go across from New York to California, and they were on the wagon trains, and they just went through, and they were very, very resilient. So you want to go to the next slide?
Sure.
Okay, so there's the mixed eye. This is the one like what Crystal has. And you'll see this particular eye I picked because it has also around, all the way around that white rim. Do you see that?
Yep.
That's called lipemic diathesis. So lipemic diathesis is actually a corneal marking, and it is genetic. It's a genetic marking. And then you'll look in a little slide in a little bit. We go through zones. We have zone 7, which is the scarf rim all the way around, and then it goes 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it goes from the outside in or from the inside out. Okay, so you can go to the next slide. That's the hematogenic, and that's the one you have, Kathy. So you'll see that it almost looks identical to your eye. And you'll also see that it has kind of a blue color around the eyes, the outside of the eye. And that is the scarf rim, or that's circulatory. So when it's really blue like that, that means that, well, let's bump that up. Let's get some energy going into the body. Let's get some oxygen happening. Okay?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so these are the zones that I was just talking about. So you can see the zones would be 7 on the outside. 7 is skin. So skin is your biggest organ of detox. It's called outer cellular skin elimination. So sometimes when people have like a lot of acne or rashes or things like that, then we know that we can work on those particular areas to help them detox and become more healthy, because it's your first place of defense. You know, it's really protecting you. And then you have your lymph, which is zone 6, right in the center, right inside the 7, 6. And that's lymph and detoxification area. And you'll see that one really come up a lot with a blue eye. And then the structural would be zone 5, and that's mid-ciliary. So you're seeing the words get a little bit more fancy. And then it's bone structure, and it's an ultimate utilization area also. And then zone 4 is musculature. So you can see in there that sometimes people have like a shoulder, looks like it's out, or they need a little chiropractic, and it'll show up on that with a marking. And then we have the humeral, or the intercellulary blood, lymph, and glands. And then the inside, 1 and 2, is digestion, intestinal, stomach, and the intestines again.
So the zone, no matter what the color of the eye is, the zones are universal to everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, they're always the same. Always the same. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. You want to go to the next one? Okay. So then we also, this is an interesting one too, because like when you look at my eyes, and sometimes you'll capture it even like on Facebook. If you find me on Facebook, it's under June Baker. You'll see that one of my eyes looks almost like a darker blue than the other one. So the darker blue eye has less inflammation. So when there's a lot of white in the eye, that means that there's a lot of inflammation in that particular side of the body. So the right eye reflects the right side of your body and all the right organs. The left side does the opposite.
But are you telling me that this is the same person? These two eyes are the same person. Okay.
You see how different they look? Different though, right?
They do. That's why I asked.
Yeah. And it's okay. And you'll see people that have totally like one blue eye, one brown eye.
Yes, I have.
You know, it can look that way. Okay, so the right side is your mother's genetics. The left side is, the right side is your father's genetic, and the right side, I said it backwards again. The right side is your father, and the left side is your mother.
Okay.
So you can see things that are going on, like it could be maybe something in the breast reaction field, or it could be something in the thyroid reaction field, but it's only showing up on your mother, but it's not showing up on the father. Or you can see something like, what else? It could be lymphatic. It can be, like it could be liver reaction field. The other thing that we look at too, or that I look at, is color. So in this particular eye, you really can't see a lot of color, but if it was a lighter eye, you could see a lot of different colors. I mean, this one's not a bad picture as far as that goes. Wow. Okay, and then it does digestion, utilization, elimination. So you're seeing those areas. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Crystal.
And the next one.
Okay, this is a chart that I use, and you'll see that it has the right and the left. So it gives you every organ of the body. And we'll just look at it real quick, you know, so, and it also, you've divided up in like a clock. So it's 12 o'clock at the top, and then it goes, you know, 1, 2, 3, and then 6, and then 9 and 12. So that helps me to know what area it's in. So you'll see like on the left eye, there's a big blue area. So that one is the lung reaction field. It's the thoracic, and it's also the breast area. So we can see markings in the particular eye that would be like right in that area, or the pancreas or the heart. Do you see that red marking at, well, let's say at 3 o'clock, and it's almost towards the little, where it says kind of turns yellow.
Yep.
Right. Do you see that? That's the heart reaction field. So if we see a marker in there, then we know that maybe they have to go see somebody to make sure their heart's okay. We're not doctors.
Right.
You know, we're not doctors. Absolutely. Right. But what we're doing is we can actually help you, move you in a direction that so you can get full and total wellness into your body.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you can go to another page.
All right, and that is that's the last one I actually have, unless we are going into the other iris pictures we have.
Yeah, let's do the other ones.
Okay.
So we're gonna actually look at someone's eye. Can we say who this is?
Yeah, that's me. I look like Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster. Okay, so let's look at the pupils. You'll notice that the pupil and I also look at pupils. It's called pupil tonus, and we're not going to go into that, but that's part of the study that we have. And the pupil tonus would show me like right in here. Okay, we can see if there's flattenings, but you'll notice that the right eye, the pupil is more constricted than it is on the left eye. Do you notice that?
Yep.
Okay, that just means the, you know, the areas around the collarette or around the stomach area, you know, that maybe there needs to be some cleansing that would be helpful for that. Also, some chiropractic adjustments are helpful if we see some kind of flattening. So I see a little bit of a flattening up on the left eye at like about what we would say 9 o'clock, just straight down. Do you see that? It's a little bit flatter. So that just means that, and that's a whole other thing, which we're not going to do, but I can go over that with you later. But anyway, that's actually subluxation around the pupil. So it'll help you, like we've had people where it's flat right on top. And when it's flat right on top of the eye, which would be the superior area, at the top would be the frontal. So that would just be an indication that that person maybe has trouble sleeping. And sometimes just getting an adjustment would make a difference.
No, right, for sure.
Okay, and then you'll also see in this particular eye, let's look at the right eye first, and you'll notice that there is a blue scarf rim. Remember we talked about it was zone 7, all the way on the outside. That's circulatory. So you can do things and talk to Crystal about what you could do as far as you know, working with supplementation to help get that circulation going. So there may be tendencies for being cold, or body temperature isn't always regulated the way you'd like it to be. So that would help, you know, to that particular help with that, showing us that marker. And then as you go in, you're going to notice there's some white lines. Do you see some white lines? Yes. And they can be intersecting, or they can just be circulatory. In your case, it starts like around 9 o'clock, and then it ends somewhere like around 4:30. Do you see that first one? And then there's another one that's right below that. Those can be emotional markers, and they're also called contraction furrows. So, and you have a few, we call them anxiety tetanic. So when there is an anxiety tetanic, that's someone that just gets a little bit more anxious, and some things would be helpful, like maybe magnesium, to help to calm that down. so that you're able to, feel more in charge and then more in control of your environment or where you're at. The other eye has the same thing. If you'll notice, it has, and then let's go back to the right eye again. So the right eye also has the lipemic diathesis. So lipemic diathesis is that little white ring around there, and yours happens to be all the way around. So remember, it's corneal arcus. It's a marker. It's a corneal, and it's related to fat or lipid metabolism. All right. Yep. So it's elevated cholesterol. It's elevated cholesterol. So working with that as far as maybe CoQ10, and Crystal will know because Crystal's really, really good at being able to do that. I do that as well, but she's our resident herbalist. So we're going to have her. I'll even ask Crystal for help too. Yeah, and also it can also help with your memory. If it's right at the top, which is kind of cut off, so I can't really tell how much at the top, but you have them on the superior areas on the top where the brain area is, brain reaction field. So it'll probably clear up as you begin to work with that. So when you see that, you may also have like cold extremities. There could be varicose veins. You can bruise easy. And then the interesting part about this particular eye is the blood is thicker. The blood is thicker with a hematogenic eye. Okay. And you can also have, it can also have tendencies towards anemia. What's the matter?
Okay, so yes, the doctor said that I was anemic the last time I was at his office, and he also said that I was having what was it? High cholesterol. So yeah.
Isn't that interesting that it shows up in your eye of all places?
It is. I think it's phenomenal. Yeah. The anxious part, though, I don't ever feel anxious like that, though. So I'm not for sure if that's the part I'm wondering about, because I'm pretty much in charge. I have to be. I don't have a
That's why. Well, that's why. Because of the type of personality you have.
Yeah.
It's called anxiety tetanic. So have you seen when they cut a tree? They cut a tree and then it has all these rings?
Yes.
Okay, that's what you have. You have all these rings. So those are contraction furrows in the neurological area. So neurologically, you can support that, with, and you may not feel that you have the stress, but you've just learned how to, you're kind of like, you're pulling in the reins on the horse that wants to take off, and so you're able to just pull it together, right?
I have to. I don't have a choice.
Right.
Yep.
That's survival.
Yeah, survival. Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at some of the markings here. We're not going to go a whole lot into them, but let me see what else we look at that looks a little not. Okay, so on both of the eyes, on the right eye and on the left eye, if you'll notice towards the bottom, which is called the inferior area, you have a marking right at 6 o'clock straight up, which is adrenals.
Okay.
Adrenals and thyroid work together. So now let's look and see if we have a marker in the thyroid reaction field, which you do. So the thyroid, when you support one, you need to support the other.
Okay.
And sometimes we can look at this and people say, why can't I lose weight? Or how come my metabolism is so sluggish? When you begin to support both of these, I think it's going to help you move the metabolism.
Okay.
So I think me and Kathy were talking about yesterday about dark circles underneath the eyes, and dark circles have to do with your adrenals or food allergies, either or, but both are adrenals. And we also know that we were talking about thyroid and adrenals go right together. You have to work on both. I just think that's amazing that, June, like what you say, also lines up with what I've talked about with Kathy as well. And then what her doctor has told her. It's really cool.
So isn't that interesting that it shows up in your eyes? We say the eyes is the window of the soul. And if you think about it, it's mind, will, emotion, right?
So what do you see emotionally with me? You're a fragile child. You're scary.
Emotionally, actually, you know what? That's a whole other teaching.
I know that's right.
Yeah, and I do emotional, like in you. Let me look and see if you have lacunas. Let me look at your lacunas. You don't have a lot of lacunas. Like in Crystal's case, she has some lacunas that we can look at. Let me look up a little closer here. You also have what's called tophi, which would be like little pockets of fluid in the lymphatic area, but it all has to do with lipemic diathesis. Oh yeah, you can see them really well in the left eye. You're pretty much
right.
See at the top it tells you right eye and left eye. Yeah, on the left eye. Let's look at 3 o'clock. Let's look around 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock. Do you see those little white markings?
Yep.
The little circles?
Yep.
Those are tophi, which have to still do with the circulatory, has to do with the lymph glands. So maybe a lymph gland cleanse would be helpful.
Okay.
The weave. Okay. The weave of your eye is really good. It's very good, which means that you're very resilient. You're very resilient. So if you get sick, you might, you could catch a cold and it'll be over in 2 days or a day or an hour or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have time for it. So it just goes. So you have that resilience, which means that your genetics is really strong and good.
Yeah.
We also look at the white of the eye. The white of the eye is called the sclera. That's the one that shows, that's the only one that's going to change. So you'll see people, they have like a lot of red markings.
Yeah.
And they're called like meandering vessels. So they all point to something. So they could, if you have a meandering vessel that's pointing to the thyroid, that shows emotion. That shows a lot of emotion. Here's one. Like here's a left eye.
Oh, cool.
So this is another chart that we also studied that shows that. And the pupil tonus that we talked about a little while ago, where we saw a little bit of flattening on the lateral. Let's see, it was on the upper lateral.
Here, I can pull that up real
So
fast.
that's it's an emotional component. It's mind-based. Do you have problems sleeping at all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, see, there it is. It says sleep.
I'm an overthinker, man. I
think, so this one says sleep. That's your anxiety tetanic. Okay, and then here, that's true. It says sleep problems, skull head coverings, head hair, face and nose, ears, structural head, neck and shoulders issues, and it's C4, C7.
Why am I crying?
You know what? Everybody cries with me. I'm sorry.
This is
weeping. I never had that.
I cried with June. Yeah. It's healing. Just get it out.
Well, I'm not crying emotionally. It's just this eye is weeping. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop it.
No, it's good. It's good. You're releasing.
That's
so,
crazy.
And everybody cries with me. Men, women, children. So anyway, it says frustration, anyway, it through the pupil of the eye, it's going to be okay, baby.
What is going on?
She's like, I don't even know.
I'm crying out of one eye.
So I will go ahead. I'll bring up my eye. Very vulnerable.
Did that help you a little bit, Kathy?
Yes.
Okay. So, and we'll do more. We can do some more later.
Okay.
Oh, Crystal, you have beautiful, beautiful eyes. Remember we talked about the blue and the brown merging, and they brought a baby, and the baby is called biliary. So the biliary eye on Crystal. So you'll see that on the right eye, there's a lot of white. So then we're looking at uric acid, or we're looking at, she has a lot of inflammation. And that's why it looks lighter on that side. But you can also see that she's blended in there with a blue eye. because you can see little traces of blue in the eye. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So she has genetics from her her family, blue-eyed family. So you have a grandmother, a mother with blue eyes?
My dad's side, they all have blue eyes.
Yeah, see,
pretty much.
So you can have the tendencies of a blue eye, and the blue eyes are usually very mucousy. They have a lot of inflammation.
Goodness.
They can have tendencies towards achy bones, poor digestion. Just, you know, some of the things that you have may not be coming from the brown eye, but they're becoming more from the blue eye. You also have what's called tiger striping. If you see your eye looks like a tiger.
Yep.
It's pretty, huh? Very, very pretty. So you also have those contraction furrows. You have maybe a few more on the left eye than you do on the right eye. So remember, the left eye is your mother and the right side is your father. So you are probably born with those markers in your eye. And did you say, and your children could be born with them too, whether they have those tendencies or not, but you should really start working on them neurologically and helping them to support those areas so they get good sleep and B vitamins, you know, that kind of thing to help them with that.
Yep.
Okay, then we're looking at, she has, and the blue eye is, or the brown, the biliary and the blue eye is easier to see. You can see those deep markings on the right eye. So on the right eye, we're seeing a deep mark right at 10 o'clock near, you see that one?
Yep.
So what when they're brown like that, they can be cleansed. You know, you need to do some work with that. And that is shoulder pain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Shoulder, neck, even mid-ear and sinus area, which really correlates with the blue eye. Really strong correlation with the blue eye. And then you also have that blue rim all the way around for circulation. You know, so you could be all of a sudden just really cold, or you can get hot, and helping your body to just really detox when it needs to, but also nurturing it, and a lot of hugs.
I like hugs.
Yeah, you need to go ahead and receive the love. Get the love, because you're so precious, and I don't think you know how precious you are.
I agree.
So do you see? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yes, I am anemic, and a lot of these things I have had. I'm gonna pull this down real fast. So a lot of people don't know, but years ago, the reason I got into all of this is because I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis when I was 18.
I remember that.
I'm now 32. Okay, so I was diagnosed as anemia back then, hypoglycemia, all kinds of things, sugar issues. Yes, anxiety is crazy. I'm very high strung, and those are all the things. Yeah,
I'm her balancing act over here. I balance her out.
Good. We need that.
Yep.
Yeah, we all do, don't we?
So
speaking of color, do you see the color in your eye though? Go back to your eye. So do you see the brown and the orange?
Yes, so glandular.
So we see, and liver. Okay, right, exactly. So when you see the brown, it is the liver. When you see the orange, kind of yellowish color, that's
yellow.
the pancreas. So tendencies towards wanting, or your body wanting to be always sugar, a lot of sugar.
Yeah. There's if I'm not disciplined, it's out of control. It will get out of control, and that's why I have to stay disciplined. And I also want to mention, you know, in the 12 o'clock markings near the brain and everything. As a child, I had one or two sinus infections every single year. And I also had strep throat once a year up until I was 18. Now, when I was 18, and you know, sinus in Greek means sewer. Your sewer is your colon. So your sinuses are going to affect your colon, or your colon's going to affect your sinuses, you know. And so, yeah, I have not got a sinus infection since I started doing natural stuff. I think the last time I had a sinus infection, I was probably like 18 or 19. And I used to get, like I said, I used to get strep throat every single year. And since when I started doing natural stuff when I was 18, like taking enzymes, spleen activator, all these things, building my immune system, correcting my digestive tract, I have not got strep throat since, because I used to get on antibiotics too. So then I had to recover from the antibiotics.
Right.
And antibiotics can create yeast in the body, which you see more yellow. It can damage all kinds of stuff. But, you know, so I have worked so hard.
Yes, you have.
On all
You've
this,
come a long way, Crystal. I remember when you were
Oh my
really
gosh.
sick.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, it's
Most
crazy.
definitely.
So all those things for sure, like you're just saying, oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, I could really go on for hours and hours and hours, and we really could.
Oh my
So
goodness.
how can we get in touch with you?
Oh, let me go
What
ahead and-
kind of information do we have to get in touch with Miss June?
All right, let me pull that up there. There we go.
Okay. All right. So
So,
we
yeah.
might contact her. Go ahead, Miss June. Please say it.
You can reach me at www.healthconnection. Notice how it's spelled. CONNEXION.net. That is my website. And you can read all about me, my history, about how I put people on a stump and all that, and
So do
taught
you do
them
things
since
virtually as well?
I do.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I do.
So that's awesome. And,
So, and
I'm
I
sorry,
do remote readings.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's actually what we did. I mean,
Yeah.
so we just did that.
Yeah.
I'm not in New Mexico, although I'd like to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you can
we'll
just
take a
drive
trip.
over here.
Yeah. We'll take a trip. Road trip.
Yeah.
Road trip.
So I know that you have way more to offer us. So I would not be upset if you decide to come back with us and do a couple of more things with us. I can think of 3 things I'd like for you to delve into
Okay.
that we can explore in a later date. So maybe we can reschedule you for another show. Are you up for that?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah. You have a lot of
Yeah.
knowledge. I wanted to get into a couple of things, but this was so interesting. Why would we want to pull away from it? So
Oh my
Right.
goodness.
the next things, where there are 3 things I want to get in with you, and I don't want to spill the beans yet. We'll just let everybody be waiting for you to come back. And so when we invite her back, I will explain what I'm talking about. But Miss Crystal, how can people get in touch with us, and how can they get our services?
All righty. So let's see if I can pull that up there. All right. So we recently just launched the new website, and now you can book appointments, subscribe to our Natural Health Hub service, or shop for pharmaceutical grade supplements.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and that's at naturalhealthhub.square.site. And easy, super simple and easy.
I absolutely learned a lot today, you guys. I hope that you did too. I hope that it piqued your interest to know what's going on inside your bodies, what you need to work with, what you need to talk to your doctors about, what you need to pray about. Even if you're a praying person, pray about your own body and get it healed, you guys. We need to get our bodies back into homeostasis states. And that's what I'm working on. That's why I don't know why this eye is still weeping. I don't know if you can see it, but I've been wiping my eye for the past 30 minutes. So yeah, I just hope that you guys are ready to get back into a balance of having health with your emotions, with your physical being, and with your spiritual being, and anything that makes you happy. That's what me and Crystal are all about, and we're so happy Miss June were able to come be with us today. And then don't forget that next Wednesday you're going to have Coach Ree, and then tomorrow we have our vibe of the day. So I just want to thank you again, Miss June.
Thank you so much, June.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
And it was a big blessing to have you here. And I love all of your knowledge and all the value you bring. It's so good. My brain just like lights up. And I'm just like, tell me more.
Yeah, geeked out.
I know. I'm so geeked up.
All right. So thank you guys for joining us on Wellness Wednesday, and we will see you tomorrow with Vibe of the Day.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye. Have a good one.